Listening Library presents The Lost Women of Science by Melina Gerosa Bellows and Katie Hafner. Read for you by Katie Koster, with author Katie Hafner. Note to listeners. This audiobook includes a downloadable PDF which contains the exercises and selected bibliography from the book.
To my children, Chase and Mackenzie, MGB. To all the forgotten women whose stories we have told, and those whose stories we hope yet to tell, KH. Forward. Throughout our lives, we embark on journeys of all kinds. Some are physical, others are adventures of the mind. Our own journey at Lost Women of Science began in 2021, when we learned about Dr. Dorothy Anderson, who was born more than 100 years ago and grew up to become a doctor. She wanted to be a surgeon, but during that time, women weren't welcomed into that medical specialty, nor into many others. So she became a pathologist, studying the causes of disease and death. As you'll learn in this book, Dr. Anderson discovered cystic fibrosis, a hereditary disease that was killing babies and young children. And as soon as she told the world about it in 1938, scientists began to develop treatments for prolonging the lives of CF patients. Today, thanks to Dr. Anderson's foundational work, people with cystic fibrosis can expect to live closer to normal lifespans. There was just one problem. Dorothy Anderson got completely lost. After she died in 1963, her story died along with her. By the beginning of the 21st century, the world had completely forgotten who she was. We started Lost Women of Science in order to tell Dorothy's story. But then a question occurred to us. How many other Dorothy Andersons were out there? How many dozens or even hundreds of remarkable female scientists have had their stories lost to history? So our team at Lost Women of Science set out to research the lives and work of as many women as we could find, women who made huge contributions to science, but for reasons of time and place and the lack of a Y chromosome, didn't get the recognition they deserved during their lifetime. The research we do can be challenging and often labor-intensive. In addition to the 10 biographies, the book is packed with lots of bonus extras. Throughout the book, you will find sidebars including science experiments on the greenhouse effect, a DIY book cipher, and a seaweed cake recipe. There are timelines on astronomy and code-breaking, mini-biographies of famous people like Stevie Wonder and Harriet Tubman, and quick dives on topics ranging from the funky world of fungi to the special boxes built to bring moon rocks back to Earth. Still, our journey has been like a luxury cruise compared to the free soloing done by our lost scientists. All we have to do is tell their stories. They had to work in environments that were far more hostile toward women than you'll find today, just so they could help humanity, whether by solving a medical riddle, studying the greenhouse effect, designing rockets for NASA, or carving out another scientific path entirely. Accomplishing any of these feats required equal measures of perseverance, curiosity, and guts. In this first volume of The Lost Women of Science, you'll get to know 10 of these women, including Cecilia Payne-Gaposchkin, who discovered what stars are made of and turned the world on its head. Yvonne Y. Clarke, whose groundbreaking achievements as a Black female mechanical engineer earned her the moniker First Lady of Engineering. Elizabeth Smith Friedman, a master codebreaker who played a pivotal role in both world wars, though for many years no one knew what she had done. Not even her family. And Leona Zacharias, my own grandmother, who in the 1940s conducted research into an epidemic of blindness among premature newborns. We hope that in learning more about each and every one of them, your curiosity will be piqued and you'll be inspired to carry out some remarkable work of your own. These once lost, now found women of science officially pass the baton of exploration and discovery to you, the next generation of mavericks. Katie Hafner, along with Melina Jarosa Bellows and the Lost Women of Science team.
Eunice Newton Foote. July 17, 1819 to September 30th, 1888. Science was one of those domains where women were struggling to be heard, and Foote is among the pioneers whose work paved the way toward acceptance. Amara Huddleston, Climate.gov. Claim to fame: the mother of climate science. Why? For her cutting-edge experiment that theorized about why Earth was getting warmer, advancing climate science. Firsts. First person to theorize the concept of the greenhouse effect. First inventor to patent the thermostatically controlled cooking stove. An attendee of the first women's rights conventions at Seneca Falls in 1848, which launched the fight for women's right to vote. Eunice Newton didn't grow up in a scientific family, but science ran in her blood. Her father, Isaac, was a distant relative of Isaac Newton. That's right, the famous physicist and mathematician who helped us understand gravity and motion, among other discoveries. Eunice was born in 1819, and her father was a cattle runner, or a rancher who raises cattle to be sold for meat. Eunice was born in Goshen, Connecticut, but when she was 3 years old, her father moved the family, her mother, Tirzah, and her 10 brothers and sisters, in a covered wagon to Bloomfield, a town in western New York State, with the hope of improving his job prospects. Unfortunately, job opportunities in Bloomfield weren't much better for Isaac, but it turned out to be a lucky move for Eunice. New York between 1830 and 1860 was the progressive dynamo of much of the United States, explains Sally Gregory Koster, a science historian and professor emerita at the University of Minnesota. The state was thriving with free thinkers in every domain, from religion to science to civil rights. Several cities contained stops along the Underground Railroad, the network of safe houses that aided Black people escaping slavery in the South, and communities were rife with discussions of women's rights. There were even dress reform activists who believed that more practical women's clothing should replace the ornate Victorian style, with its tightly laced corsets and bulky layers of petticoats. Everything from mixed-race marriages to new religions was open for discussion, and Eunice was exposed to this modern thinking. Eunice's family were freethinkers too, and they invested in her education. They sent her to the feminist-founded Troy Female Seminary in Troy, New York. It was the first school in the country with a mission to provide young women with an education comparable to that of young college-educated men, a pretty revolutionary idea at the time. The seminary also happened to be right next to Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, one of the most prestigious science schools in the country. Troy students could take classes there, although the women were still expected to be homemakers and not do much else after college. Eunice took classes at Rensselaer, and she expanded her knowledge of scientific theory and practice, which would have a big impact on the course of her life. When Eunice's father died in 1835, he left his family with substantial debts. Soon the Newton farm was in danger of foreclosure, and the family had few options. To prevent the bank from taking the farm, Eunice's older sister Amanda jumped into action and hired the district attorney of the nearby town of Seneca Falls. The young lawyer Elisha Foote took on their case, won it, and also won the attention of Eunice. Eunice and Elisha began a courtship, and in 1841 they married. She was 22 years old. He was 32. The couple moved to
Sample complete. Ready to continue?